Good afternoon. How is everybody today? We're here for our second installment of interactive intuitive tarot journaling. And today we're going to be exploring the Magician. I'm Tom from Tarot Your Way, and I hope that you went and at least tried some of the exercises from last week. If not, it's okay. You can always catch up or do them whenever you want. Today we're going to be looking at our Magician. And there he is in the Rider-Waite Tarot. And this Magician is from the Word Cloud Tarot. Oh, Jane. Exercises and, contemplating, thinking about, brainstorming, journaling. Hello, Hershey. I think you've got a link if you want to come in. I didn't want to ask you in case events of the last 24 hours have been pretty heavy on you. So I have been enjoying the new kitten. Andy is a little female. She's gotten very close to me. I thought she was just going to remain wild and feral, but now that she's found that I'm somebody that feeds her and she can trust, she climbs right up on me whenever she can, and just likes to play right in my lap. Let's see if that was Hershey. Doesn't appear to be. Okay. Another email's been sent out if you do want to join me. If you don't, Hershey, that's not a problem. Oh, okay. I see your note now. So last week, the homework was to put your Fool card anywhere, the eye line anywhere around Alice's box on the Brady Bunch, and draw what you saw outside of the picture. And anybody who did that, go ahead and tell us what you imagined outside of the box. Were there eagles in the sky? Was there a hawk circling? Were there vultures or buzzards circling? Did you hear a lone coyote howl in the distance? Could you see a lake or a sea or river going in the valley? What was below the cliff of your Fool? And then also in your journal, put anything that came to you from the Fool card that you might want to put into your interpretations. Yeah, we all know what the books have to say about it, but I want you to get acquainted with the cards and what they say to you, and use those alternate readings or meanings in your readings. And once you do that, that'll help you with the intuitive side of the tarot. Maybe off in the distance, the sky changes color from yellow from behind our Fool. And a lot of the tarot astrologies will say that Uranus is associated with the Fool, but right there on our card we see the sun. So I would say either the sun or Uranus could influence the Fool in astrology. And Hershey says she drew, but not in the box. Oh, no, it was to draw outside the Fool card. She drew pyramids, a waterfall based on one of her cards. She drew it all in black and white because the Fool hadn't entered it yet. That's true. He hasn't influenced the world or put his spin of color on things. And, we don't need to have the 64 box of crayons to imagine all the colors. We do have imagination ourselves. Black and white is just fine. And for anybody sticking around, nobody's really here, but we're going to go on. So again, we just want to list alternate words for a magician. Now we may have jester, just like our Fool. We may have prestidigitator. Could have a con man in our midst. May have somebody who's playing with sleight of hand. Manipulative enchantress. Oh, I like that. Wizard. anything that we have with magicians. And let's go ahead and just stay here, but let's say some not so positive names for magician. Maybe Flim Flam Man, Con Man, Necromancer. No, I don't know if that's going to be positive or negative. Spellcaster. Now, a lot of people go to Magus. That's good. When our fool comes to the magician, the magician says that you were destined to be the court jester. And you need all these skills that I can teach you. I can teach you the basics, but you've got to practice and practice and practice to make them seem effortless and to bewilder and amaze your audience. So with that practice, the king will hire you, and the fool is a very important position to the king because you gain access to the people around the king. So while the dancers and the musicians are playing during the banquet, you can serve and overhear conversations that the king won't have access to. So just be yourself, play the fool, conjure, play the fool, and report back to me if there's anything hinky going on. Well, the fool finds out when he becomes the jester that people let their guard down around him because they think him as simple and stupid and not clever, and they will accidentally blurt out secret plots or whatever in front of the fool, not ever thinking that the fool and the king have a personal relationship. But they do once banquets and court is not in session. So the fool can work himself into a very sought after position and be next to the king and be one of his true allies. And it's just us, Hershey. Nobody wants to work hard on a Sunday. So where might we find a magician? You can find the magician in any downtown joke shop, magic shop, selling juggling clubs and trick coins and illusions and marked cards, any sorts of array, costume shop. Oh yeah, it's Halloween weekend. Well, some people are hunkering down, and if you have black cats, keep them inside, keep them safe. Yes, you find magicians everywhere. You find them in the swamp. You find them as your silly uncle. The one who tells those dreaded dad jokes. He's always pulling a quarter out from behind your ear or something like that. The magician can make everything seem effortless. but only by his years and years of practice does it seem effortless. You want to work hard and do some rhymes? Not a lot of rhymes for magician, optician, nutrition. But we got lots of rhymes for wand and cup and coin. And sword. And the scepter that he holds in his hand. He's holding that hand up, and then he's holding the other hand. And symbolism, as above, so below, as within, so without. Oh yeah, well don't do that then, Hershey. Don't explode your brain. Our magician, he may be a statistician, but his coin hidden by his loin, his coins hidden by his loins are no contradiction. I don't know. Really bad. So during this week for homework, if you would just write down all the things that you can think that magicians do, and write a conversation between the fool and the magician. What might the fool ask of the magician? What might the magician tell the fool? And with that, I'm going to show you a little short that I did for Irreverent Tarot.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? The next time the Fool starts your tarot reading, cast your querent as the Fool, portraying the trope of the reluctant hero. Spin your reading as them being Luke Skywalker and targeting womp rats on the planet of Tatooine. Luke, not knowing that later he would start a chain reaction that would destroy the Death Star and save the galaxy from the forces of the Empire and Darth Vader. So stop being sick and tired of the same old tarot readings that you give. Spice them up with the Fool being our reluctant hero. Landspeeder and Luke Skywalker action figures sold separately.
So I hope you enjoyed that little funny. Yeah, it's going to be easy. It doesn't require creative drawing or anything that really requires more than thought and pen and pencil and paper. So anyone coming on want to share with us what they found in their picture that they drew last night? Good morning, Hypnicity. Well, maybe he's disappeared, Hershey. Maybe he's good at hiding. The Fool in my illustration, the Giro Marchetti deck, That's a beautiful Fool picture. So hypnicity, are you feeling the effects, between the dual eclipses? Hi, Michelle. So when we first came in, we just thought of different words for a magician. Do you think a magician's tools might include tarot cards? I would think so. Good morning, Scorpio Mama. So this is our Rider White Smith magician, and if you just want to write down anything that you see in this card, um, we'll see what the symbolism is. Magician is mastermind. I would agree. So he's got the Arbor of Roses, or maybe pomegranates. I've got my glasses, or you don't judge. He's got the infinity figure above his head. He's got a white belted tunic with a red cape over his arms. Um, he's got lilies and roses uh, beneath the table. And he's got the wand, the cup, the coin, and the sword on the table for all the tools. And then I guess him with his hand up in the air can represent the fifth element of spirit. All those other tools, earth, water, fire, and air. Infinite wisdom, good. So I was just telling people that when the fool meets the magician tells him that he was destined to be the court jester for the king, and don't think it's not an important job, because it's very important for the king. First of all, he wants his subjects to be entertained at dinner, but also because people will view him as the fool, they will loose their tongues at the banquet, and while the fool is serving wine or food, he can overhear and will be privy to many conversations that the king is not supposed to hear, even though they're in the king's halls. So the fool has a very important role. So the magician urges him to practice with all these tools, learn how to juggle, learn how to fire breathe, learn how to manipulate coins, learn how to do card tricks, learn how to juggle swords and knives and all kinds of dangerous implements. But the only way you're not going to get hurt is to practice. So Hershey has a little bit different imagery on her card, but it still has the elements of the four suits there. So the Eight of Coins, the card of work. So that would be what the Magician tells the Fool. The Fool would be brave because the Fool is given permission to insult the king or make fun of the king in front of the king without losing his head. It's to get the crowd to loosen up where they will loosen up these secrets, and later the Fool can overhear conversations and report back to the king. He definitely would have the ability to read crystals. He would definitely have the ability to carry them and wield them for sorcery. You know, we're not talking just a stage magician here. We're talking the yellow background on the Fool meant action, and it does too on the Magician. That means you have to be actively practicing all the time to get better at your craft, to not be detected in the sleight of hand or the misdirection that you give. Oh yeah, the Fool is a very important card in the tarot. He's the metaphor for us in the tarot readings. He stands outside of everything, being us as the unbiased observer. I'm a 10-1. I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to say to me. So our Magician can level up in skills, and he can level the Fool up in skill. He's definitely willing to be a mentor to our Fool, willing to show him tricks of the trade, and and give him shortcuts if he can. What he learned, how to manipulate the coin a little better. So we're all, as we all maneuver through the tarot, we're pulling on our knowledge and memory. Magician is one of our birth cards. So we're all trying to pull out of memory these 78 or more keywords for all the cards, and we're trying to tell this narrative of a story to make it interesting. So the Magician, I'm still the Fool because I haven't found my voice yet, not become a true communicator. I can come up with some gems to say every once in a while, but I can't keep the flow going and keep people engaged 100% of the time. I've just not yet developed that skill. So the Magician is going to urge me to practice my skills of oration because the Magician has to be an orator too. There's back in the day, there's not megaphones or anything to project the voice, so you have to be have to be a stage whisperer. You know, you have to be Shakespearean and boom out the words so the audience can hear you from afar. And the fool needs to learn that skill as well, voice projection. So, and a thing that I'm going to give you for homework this week is look up the positions in the Celtic Cross reading. And if you are going to read your Fool or your Magician cards in all 10 of the positions, now you don't have to keep the cards the same in the Celtic Cross. I would say keep number 1 and 2, the significator and the cross, and then number 10, the final outcome. Always keep those the same meaning, but you can switch anything out along the way. If you don't like hopes and fears, give that a different meaning. If you don't like how you see yourself or how others see yourself, you can switch out those for 2 other meanings for you. It's all up to you how to put that spread together. But I would say leave number 1, 2, and 10 intact. So that'll be homework for this week, is to maybe plot out, maybe even draw out on a piece of paper your 10 card outlines for your Celtic Cross and what you would say for the Fool in that position or the Magician in that position. And remember, you can turn them on their heads as well. You can do the Fool reversed or the Magician reversed, because in the beginning you absolutely don't have to read reversals ever if you don't want. It just complicates readings. But if you learn to read reversals, the quicker you learn to read reversals, the more nuanced and in-depth your stories can become when you're reading tarot for others. So I'm going to leave it at that for this week. Just short and sweet. And I'll try to come up with a short that draws on the Magician. But for those of you who came in late, I'm going to be proud and show my work for the Fool last week.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? The next time the Fool starts your tarot reading, cast your querent as the Fool, portraying the trope of the reluctant hero. Spin your reading as them being Luke Skywalker and targeting womp rats on the planet of Tatooine. Luke, not knowing that later he would start a chain reaction that would destroy the Death Star and save the galaxy from the forces of the Empire and Darth Vader. So stop being sick and tired of the same old tarot readings that you give. Spice them up with the Fool being our reluctant hero. Landspeeder and Luke Skywalker action figures sold separately.
So I hope you enjoyed that little funny. I had fun doing it. I'm gonna try to do that for each of the cards. Thank you, Michelle. So until next week, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, and go out and make it a great day. Bye, everyone.